Why would we invite you? You overreact to everything. That's what my mom said when I asked why no one told me about my sister's engagement party. They didn't forget. They excluded me. Deliberately. I found out when I showed up at Mom's house with a card and a small gold bracelet. My sister looked at me like I'd walked in with rotten eggs. Mom blinked and said, "That was last week. The whole family was there." It was a standard celebration. Standard. As if family milestones were just scheduled events I didn't need to attend. As if I was some distant relative they could update later. My name is Cameron Ellis, I'm 31. And if you think you know how this ends, stay tuned. What happens when you finally realize that belonging was never yours to begin with? I stood there holding the bracelet. My cheeks burned. The room felt colder than January. Someone coughed. Someone else avoided eye contact. My sister picked at her nails and said, "It was just a small thing. No need to get dramatic." But the photos were already online. Her in white. Balloons. Banners. A cake that read, "He put a ring on it." Everyone was there. Even my second cousins. Even my mom's church friend who once called me too sensitive. But not me. I left the bracelet on the counter and walked out. Didn't slam the door. Didn't cry in the car. Just drove home to my quiet beach house. The one they always remembered when they wanted a summer getaway. A month later, my phone buzzed. Mom's message. "Beach house free this weekend? Everyone wants a break. Let me know, sweetie." I stared at the screen. And finally, I knew what I'd say. I didn't answer right away. Not because I was conflicted, but because I wanted to feel the silence they had once served me. 3 hours later, I replied. It was available last month. The whole beach was there. It was a standard weekend. No emoji. No warmth. Just their own coldness reflected back. Mom responded almost instantly. "What does that mean?" I didn't reply. Instead, I set my phone down and walked outside. The ocean was calm. Waves curling like quiet applause. My solitude had become sacred. Later that night, I checked the family group chat. The same one that had been silent about my sister's engagement. Now it was lit up with passive-aggressive pings. Guess Cam doesn't care about family. She's changed since she moved into that beach place. Maybe she likes being the black sheep. No one said a word when I was forgotten. But now that I wasn't giving, now I was the villain. My sister, of course, didn't speak up. She never did. Always played innocent while the daggers came from her shadow. But something had changed in me. I wasn't trying to be included anymore. I wasn't aching for a seat at their table. Because now I owned the table. And the house. And the peace that came with choosing myself. The next morning, I received another message. This time from Dad. "We'll pay for groceries and clean up if it's about that. Just let us come." I smiled. They still didn't get it. This wasn't about chores. It was about respect. And I was done loaning them access to the life they once pretended didn't exist. 3 years ago, I would have said yes. I would have cleaned the house top to bottom, stocked the fridge, prepared guest towels, told myself, this is how families heal. But now I saw the pattern, the quiet math of conditional love. They only reached out when it was convenient. The rest of the time, I was invisible, a blurry silhouette in their story. I didn't reply to Dad's message. I let it sit there, unread, but read, heavy in its silence. That night, my sister posted a photo. Her and Mom laughing on a friend's boat. Caption: "Making new memories, some people don't need an invite nail polish." The comments were loaded. Amazing ladies. True family. And one from my aunt. Forget the haters. You're doing it right. I felt something inside me stiffen. Not anger. Not pain. Just a cool sort of clarity. They'd rewritten the story. Made me the outcast in a book they'd ghost-authored. But I was done being their subplot. So I did something they didn't expect. I posted my own photo. Me. On my porch. Sunlight on my face. A wine glass in hand. Caption: "It's peaceful when you stop begging to be loved the wrong way." It went viral within the family. Within 5 minutes, I had 4 missed calls. 1 from Dad. 1 from my sister. 2 from unknown numbers I knew were relatives. I didn't answer any of them. I wasn't trying to make a statement. I was simply living, without the weight of needing their applause. The next morning, I woke up to a voice message from Mom. She never leaves voice messages. But there it was, 52 seconds of forced cheer and tight-lipped panic. Hi, sweetheart. I think we should talk. Your sister's post was immature. You know how she is. I didn't even know she was going to post that. Anyway, your dad's feeling under the weather, and the beach air always helps him sleep. Let's not turn this into something bigger than it is. Love you. I replayed it twice. Each time, I could hear the desperation buried under fake warmth. She wasn't sorry. She was scared. Scared they were losing their grip. Scared that I'd stopped playing the quiet, useful daughter. Scared I'd found peace they couldn't manipulate. I didn't reply. Instead, I forwarded the message to my lawyer, the one who helped me put the beach house entirely under my name the day after my husband passed. She responded within minutes. Still secure. No loopholes. No rights of access unless explicitly granted. You're untouchable. I stared at that message for a long time. Untouchable. It didn't mean invincible. It meant I was finally out of reach. From their guilt, their cycles, their rewrite of who I was. By noon, I got a new message. This one from my sister. I saw your post. You really want people thinking we abandoned you? That's low. I didn't flinch, because they hadn't abandoned me. They'd never even seen me. I was the one who grew up in their house, but never in their hearts. And now, finally, I had stopped knocking on a door that was never built for me to walk through. 3 days later, I saw their car parked 2 blocks down from the beach house. A white SUV, same one they used to take my sister to her engagement party last month, the one I wasn't invited to. Now here it sat quietly, engine off, but I could see 2 silhouettes inside. Waiting. Watching. I didn't go out. Instead, I watered the front plants. Sipped my tea. Let the ocean breeze wrap around my quiet. I had no interest in confrontation, only in consistency. They had taught me silence was compliance. But now I knew silence could also be freedom, especially when paired with boundaries. At sunset, they finally knocked. I opened the door halfway, let it rest against my hip, arms folded. Mom smiled like we were actresses rehearsing warmth. We were just in the area. Thought we'd say hi. I tilted my head. 3 hours from your house, just in the area? Her smile cracked. Dad cleared his throat. Your sister's upset. Says you've been cold. That post hurt her. The post where I was sitting alone with a wine glass? That hurt her. They didn't answer. I stepped out, closed the door behind me. You came here hoping I'd make you feel better about what you did. I pointed at the window where my daughter stood, watching us. She's the reason I stopped begging. One day, I want her to know what self-respect looks like. They followed my gaze. The glass, the girl, the legacy. Please, Mom whispered. Don't do this. I smiled gently. I'm not doing anything. I'm just not pretending anymore. They didn't leave right away. They sat in the car outside for almost an hour, hoping I'd cave. But I didn't. Instead, I lit candles. Played jazz in the kitchen. Let the house feel like mine again, not a borrowed space haunted by generational guilt. When I checked my phone, there was a new message from my sister. Mom's crying. You win. Happy now? I didn't reply, because this was never about winning, it was about ending a game I never agreed to play. The next day, I received an email. Not from them, from an old family friend, Aunt Jo. She'd seen my beach post. She'd also seen my sister's engagement photos weeks earlier and had wondered why I wasn't in a single one. Her email was short. Just wanted to say I noticed. I'm sorry. I always thought they took advantage of your kindness. You deserved better. I hope you find peace and stay there. I stared at those words longer than I expected to. They landed like a soft thud inside my chest. Not validation. Just someone quietly noticing. For the first time in years, I didn't feel invisible. Later that night, I posted another photo. The beach behind me. My daughter laughing in the background. No caption. Just peace. Within an hour, Comments flooded in from extended relatives. One wrote, "Didn't even know you were left out of the engagement. That's terrible." Another, "You always brought class to family events." Their loss. Each message chipped away at the lie my family had curated, that I was forgettable, replaceable. But now, in silence, with no drama, the truth was surfacing. By the weekend, the silence on their end turned to noise. A group text appeared. Family means forgiveness. You're taking things too far. Dad, your behavior is selfish. You're making everything about you. Sister, so dramatic. You weren't technically excluded. You just weren't needed. I stared at the screen, thumb hovering. Not at what they said, but how familiar it felt. This was the old script. Guilt. Gaslight. Guilt again. Dress it in family words and hope I'd play my part. But I'd burned the script weeks ago. So instead, I screenshotted the messages and archived them. I wasn't saving evidence. I was saving clarity. That night, I called my attorney. Not for drama. For legacy. The beach house, though bought with my money, was still technically listed as part of my father's old trust, a legal loophole they'd ignored. Until now. I asked him to begin proceedings to finalize the ownership fully in my name. Quietly. No courtroom battles. Just ink on paper. And when the title arrived in the mail 2 weeks later, I framed it. Not out of pride, but as a reminder. That peace is not a gift, it's a choice you fight for, inch by inch. Later, I printed a second copy and mailed it to my parents. No note, no explanation, just the title, my name on it. Let them feel it. My daughter watched me seal the envelope. "Will they be mad?" she asked. I knelt down, kissed her forehead. Probably, but mad means they noticed. And noticing is the first step to change. She nodded. "Will they change?" I smiled. "That part's not up to us." A month later, I received a postcard in the mail. No envelope. Just handwriting I hadn't seen in years, my father's. Saw the deed. Understood loud and clear. Hope the waves are still kind to you. No apology. No ownership. But strangely, it didn't sting. Because I'd stopped waiting for that kind of love from people who couldn't even love themselves. I walked outside and sat on the porch steps. The ocean was whispering again, not in rage this time, but in rhythm, like it had been waiting for me to quiet down long enough to hear it. My daughter joined me, resting her head on my shoulder. She didn't ask questions. She didn't need to. We were rewriting a story, not for revenge, but for remembrance, so that she would grow up knowing silence can be power, distance can be love. And protecting your peace isn't selfish. It's sacred. That evening, I packed away the last box of what-ifs. The ones that asked if maybe one day they'd include me. The ones that hoped for calls that never came. The ones that craved being seen without conditions. I didn't burn them. I just let them rest. Because now, when I hear laughter echo through this beach house, it's real. It's ours. It's enough. And when the doorbell rings, it's never out of obligation. It's out of choice. And that changes everything. No more group chats. No more pretending. Just this moment. This house. This peace.